Hello and welcome to Reviews. As always, I'm Plume Noir, and here we are with a book I wonder why I keep picking up. Um, Basically because it's a limited series. I'm kind of curious to see where this is going to go. Um, it's Domino Hotshots number 3, and I was just noticing how small they make Domino. This is kind of like a continuation of her series that got canceled. Pretty much the same creative team. Um, but yeah, we just try and trick people. No, no, it's not. It's not that book we canceled. No, it's a completely different book. It's Hot Shots. It's Domino Hot Shots. But like a lot of Marvel books, when they cancel it, they bring it back as a team book, and but still focused on pretty much the main character. With West Coast Avengers, of course, it was Kate Bishop. Here with Hot Shots, it is Domino. Um, so yeah, this is a continuation of the story where they're going after the Celestial MacGuffin thing. Um, this cover. It's a typical floating heads staring at the MacGuffin. We have Outlaw looking kind of surprised. I don't know what Diamondback's supposed to be doing here. Uh, but even curiouser is we have White Fox and Domino who are staring at the camera. And, with that really terse look on her face there. Not sure what that's supposed to mean. Why these two characters aren't. I mean, everyone else is looking at the MacGuffin. I found it just kind of jarring that these two were not all focused on it. Especially since I don't even remember. I've read through this issue a couple times. I don't remember if Silver Fox even says more than a line. Um, Anyway, I'm just going to pop right into this because this is not a good sign. Um, I'll mention in a moment. The story starts with Diamondback. Um, but I saw this ad here for the Star Wars. Basically, they're going to reprint the original Marvel Comics 50th issue, and then do the next issue, which is going to be a complete follow up to that issue. And I was reading Star Wars at the time. I was a kid, and I remember issue number 50. It was the Crimson Forever, a story about this fever that involved these two jewels. And the story takes place after the events of Empire Strikes Back. So, Han is, only shown in flashback, his part of the adventure. And yeah, and Luke Skywalker is in, he's in a tank. His eyes are red because people who are exposed to this virus, their skin turns red and they die. And I remember at the time it was, I was reading the comic and it got to the 50th issue, and it was a really dark issue. It was kind of different than the other issues, at least. I mean, maybe if I went back and reread them, but I just remember that as a kid. And I got excited because I'm like, oh yeah, issue 50. I mean, I remembered that. That was in 1981. And I remembered that all these years later. That's how much that issue stuck out. So I'm excited about that. The problem is, I was reading this issue, I'm going, oh God, why am I reading this? And I kept thinking about this and thinking what the follow-up, and I'm kind of excited for this. Oh, I should go back and read some of the collections, see how well they stand up, because they didn't, the issues weren't really that good sometimes, but sometimes they were, so, anything to stop reading Hot Shots. Anyway, we get a brief, explanation of who the Celestials are. And one thing I will say, Gale Simone has been doing this for long enough. She knows, you start an issue, like it's the readers first, kind of give them a brush up. And here we get a quick little explanation of who Diamondback is. Now, I think I've mentioned this before. I was reading Captain America during Mark Gruenwald's run, and I loved that book. And I love the Service Society. I love the character of Diamondback. Um, in in that book, she eventually, leaves the society, becomes a hero. She even dates Captain America. I mean, I love this character, and so as when Grunwald left, she kind of just fell into limbo, as happens with side characters in another character's book. And I didn't know that she had been brought back. Somehow I'd missed that. And so we get this little bit of history going on during the plane crashing scene. See, at the end of the previous issue, Iron Man's drones had more or less destroyed the plane they were on. Whatever that Wakanda woman's name is, something Bear, Atlas Bear, destroys her plane, and so they're crashing, they're falling. So it's kind of interspersed while we have Diamondback's rescue attempt going on. We find out more about her and how she talks about how everyone considered her a snob. Now, I read Grunwald's run back in the day, and I sometimes have a pretty good memory for these things. As I mentioned, seeing this really stuck out, but I don't remember her ever being referred to as a snob back then, or displaying any snobbish characteristics. And so, why this is kind of being brought up, to show how selfless she's being, maybe. And it's kind of weird. The art, it took me a couple times. I actually read this a few times to try and figure out what exactly is going on. Now, the plane is crashing. They're all holding on to bits of the plane as they're falling. You see Deadpool saying, "Hang on, I can't hold you." Diamondback's holding on with one hand. Diamondback shouts for Domino Nina. And then, as you see, by the speed lines, the way her hair, the way the art is showing, she's holding on for dear life. It actually looks like, if you look at this, it looks like she's actually in a worse position than Domino, because you have Deadpool saying, "Lady, you got a death wish. You got to hold on." We don't see any type of exposition or anything saying that Domino's the one in trouble. This looks like it's actually Diamondback that's in trouble. Deadpool keeps telling her that she has to hold on. So, and we get cut over to Tony Stark. He's finding out that they're about to crash, and he's worried about it. And so, yeah, finds out it's about to crash into a city. And again, we see her. She's holding on for dear life. I mean, fingertips just really holding on. The art kind of sells it here. And, Domino says, "Rachel, no, don't do it." And Black Widow says, "I can't get to her." And she does this. Okay, now remember, they're in a plane, they're crashing. Diamondback does not have superhuman strength or anything. So basically, she takes this with all the G-force against her and yanks her body forward in this as everything's crashing. So, according to physics, she's now moving. She's got herself moving with only her upper body strength faster than the plane is crashing. Faster than it's falling. I'm not sure how that works out. That's why I said I read this a couple times to try and figure out what exactly is going on in this scene. Because as you see, Domino is just in front of her. And Domino looks like she's holding on. You see how she's, got her feet up and everything. She actually looks like she's in a better position, more or less, than Diamondback is. I don't want to say safe, but she's not clutching for dear life the way Diamondback is. Then we get this 2-page spread, which is kind of good and kind of bad. There's a lot of panels here. We get this thing of movement as it's going down. A lot of things going on at once because it's such a tense moment. A lot of things are happening. It really helps the momentum of the scene. It really gives that tempo of it, how fast everything is going. But like I said, given the setup of the previous pages, it kind of comes off as a mess. Which is a shame because this would have been a great scene had the previous things been set up a little bit better. And I'm not sure if that's a problem with Gale or who's the artist again, David Baldeon, or if it's a problem on his side or a miscommunication between the two. But it really does kind of ruin this scene. Because what we have here is uh, when Diamondback hurls herself now past Domino, who's now only holding on with one hand. And, she hits the side or whatever. And now you see she's helping rescue Domino. And again, the placement of panels here, where you have, Diamondback saying, then consider this an official mutiny, Panda Girl. Like, what? And then Domino, Rachel, let me go. That's an order. Oh, okay, so Domino is actually saying this first. Rachel, let me go. That's an order. Then consider this an official mutiny, Panda Girl. Okay, so it makes more sense that way. And she's not even she's reaching out. Um, again, if you turn this, it kind of makes it hard to read. Take my hand or we both go. So, okay, so this happens after this, but again, maybe this should have been back over here. And what's her name? The cowgirl. Outlaw, is that her name? Her hand starts glowing, and I think this is like Silver Fox's only line. White Fox's only line. Wait, what's Outlaw doing? Since when does a cowgirl glow? And so Rachel rescues Domino, and I have you, darling. Darling. Oh, okay. And then the ship crashes into water, and they kind of slam, and we're down, we're clear. And you get the goofy Domino. Yes, very nice. Ow. Now, okay. Apparently water is soft. Now, Iron Man had been using his drones to kind of move the ship so it wouldn't hit the city. But it's still going to hit the water. When you hit water like that, going at that speed, it's like cement. And these characters, most of them do not have any type of superhuman endurance or durability. They should have been flattered, especially since they're pretty much all outside the ship. You see them holding on, in the air. Shrapnel should have torn them apart. And yes, somehow they all survived okay. And Nat calls in a favor with Iron Man. And it turns out that Iron Man is going to work with them because Natasha explains what they're after, and that they don't want gods or people like Tony, powerful people. It has to be like a strike force like them to go get the celestial whatever it is constellation. So here's one of the problems I have is the ship's crash. So Tony Stark, his drones caused the crash. So he's going to basically bankroll them, and he's going to have them fix the ship. So the drones are all repairing the ship. Like, okay, nothing happened. Okay, let's just, no consequences. It's just, this book is very plot convenient. Things happen just because it helps move the plot along. So we get this scene here where Domino is dressing down Diamondback. Rachel, you disobeyed a direct order. You could have died. And I'd do it again. And then Domino hugs her and, shut up and hug, you nerd. We're alive. Everyone's alive. And I have these two. And that's enough. And so, yeah, we get the whole girl love thing. Although you read some of this, and the way Diamondback's talking, I actually wondered, is there some type of relationship between the two of them? But that may be explained at the end of the issue. I can't really show it, but it seemed like Diamondback was a little too into Domino, if you know what I'm saying, and not just friend thing here. And here's where we see it starts going on with Gale Simone's weird fan fiction stuff that she writes. I wouldn't be surprised if she writes like erotic fan fiction on fanfiction.net or one of those sites, where she ships various you know, female characters together and male characters together. I get that vibe from her. And so we get this issue. We get to this next page here, and Tony says he's thinking of bankrolling them and having Diamondback and the Hotshots be operatives. So while the ship is being repaired, Diamondback goes up to Deadpool. Hey there, Mr. Lonely. What? No, I was just thinking. Oh, okay. She brings him a drink, and I thought you might be thirsty. This is a juice from a fruit that only grows in Wakanda. Heh, guy alone, polishing his sword. Looking like I do, I get a lot of practice. You see, that's what I mean. That's the kind of humor you're going for. Gale, come on, you used to be better than that. And now you just write really bad fan fiction puns. And so then they start making out. um, Diamondback asks, does it mess with your mind to know you can't die? Well, I can, but yes, and no one's ever asked me that before. Funny, I always heard you were kind of a snob. Where does that come from? Diamondback being a snob? Where? I don't recall that in any of the earlier issues when she first appeared and had a long going run in Cap. So yeah, no, I'm not. I just get scared sometimes. And Domino was even shocked by this whole thing. And sometimes you see two people and you know they're wrong and you just hope it works out because God knows they deserve some happiness and they're rolling around in the sand. Ugh. Black Widow says, I'll never understand this team. Yeah, neither do I. I don't understand. Now, this, again, could be answered by the end of the issue, but this is one of the things I said that happens because the plot needs it. Unfortunately, I can't give away the ending, but Rachel needs to touch Deadpool. And this is what she came up with. This is what Gale Simone came up with. Anyway, so Domino she has to basically stand up and lead the team. Because it's been pointed out to her that they're kind of losing focus, that they're starting to doubt her as a leader. And so she tells them, asks them, who's in, blah, 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 no loyalties. I don't care who you're loyal to. And so they say, you got us, Nina Thurman. And then Deadpool, I smooched the Splody lady. And then he even says, she touched my tiny turtle. What? Gale, you're kind of gross. You know that? I mean, they call her the wine ant, but I'm not so sure that's really appropriate. She strikes me now as one of those women like cougars at a bar who gets a little too drunk and starts hitting on the 25-year-old guys and thinks that she's really says stuff like this. She's going to pick up guys half her age. I'm kind of getting that feeling. So anyway, Domino says that she's going to have to call in a favor, and Tony Stark's not going to like it, and apparently he sends them motorcycles. It just, all right, Stark, we'll bring the haste, but I'm going to need a favor, and you won't like it. And they have motorcycles now, and you get the whole yeehaw thing, and because it doesn't make sense with the plot, but the plot demands we have this shot of badass chicks on motorcycles with sidecars. Why is the pilot, the Wakanda woman, Bear? God, I keep forgetting her name. Something Bear, Atlas Bear. I keep wanting to call her Arctic Bear. I don't know why. She was the pilot of the ship. It was her plane. Why is she in the sidecar? Shouldn't she be the one? Anyway, this book is dumb. It's stupid. You get to the last page, you find out why everyone is extra horny, basically. And but when you get to the end, and like I said, I had to read this a couple times, mostly for this scene, that plane crash scene, to try and figure out exactly what was going on, who was in danger. I mean, they're all in danger. Um, but it comes off to be like a rescue of Domino when at some point she seems like she's in a better position than Diamondback. Diamondback's been the one that's been holding out with just her fingertips. Um, but yeah, the plot relies on things. I don't want to say coincidence, but it's very contrived. Um, yeah, the plane got shot down, but oh, tee hee, Iron Man's drones who crashed it, they're going to fix it up. No problem. Oh, we need motorcycles. Here you go. Here's some motorcycles. Oh, we need to make sure that Domino touches Deadpool at some point. Oh, yeah, here we go. Right here. This is the whole point of that. You could not even have done it in the part of the issue where they're next to one another and, you know, it's almost like he has his hand out to her. They could have touched then, but does Gail Simone even try anymore? It's this book is bad, and like I said, I didn't really follow her run on Domino. I think I picked up. I know I picked up the issue with Longshot. Maybe the issue before that. I think I picked up another issue. Um, and it didn't hook me, but trying to follow this is really kind of bad. I think she's trying to do it like a summer blockbuster type movie where, yeah, don't think about it, just ride it out. Here's a cool scene. Here's a scene of them crashing in a jet, and they all walked away from it, even though it was torn up and they should have been torn to shreds. And oh, wait, here they are on motorcycles. Um, but it doesn't make any sense. Don't think too hard about it because, you know, others have said it. She just does first drafts now. She's gotten to that point in her career where she can spend all day on Twitter, then remember, oh wait, I gotta write this issue. And then she spends the evening writing the issue, sends it in, and yep, it's good. I'll wait for my check. And this will probably be collected in a trade paperback in 6 months, and she'll get royalties on it. And then it'll sit on the shelves before it ends up going to Ollie's for a discount, and you can get it for $3.99. The cost of one issue. Nothing against that. I've bought quite a few trade paperbacks at Ollie's. So, anyway, 20 minutes on this piece of garbage. Uh, but like I said, it's a limited series. I'll probably ride it out to the end. We'll see where it goes together. But as always, thanks for watching. Oh, by the way, I didn't give this issue a rating, did I? Um, you know what? I'm gonna go 5 o'clock. Now you're probably wondering why 5 o'clock. Um, because there is some things in here that I think Gale, she shows that she is seasoned. Things that should be second nature. Some of the introductions. But as I've already said, the reasons why it had a low score. This could have been a great scene. It really could have been. It just needed to be set up a little bit better. In fact, I know you hook people strong. You get them at the beginning, hook them strong. This would have been great at like the second to last page of an issue, or even, as the cliffhanger before they actually crash, to leave people wanting more, get them built up, and then just like, okay, what's going to happen next issue? Because there is a cliffhanger at the end of this issue, but it's not as good as if they had this. Um, so yeah, the pacing on that, it could have been better. Anyway, what is it? 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. So the split should be off soon. I'll be able to do a full fist. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.